Welcome to the show, y'all. Welcome to the show, y'all. It's the Greg Davis Show. We gon' talk the talk, so get ready. We came to push the call, educating. So just lock that down and keep it steady. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Everything is alright. We're gonna help you get your life. It's the Greg Davis Show.
Welcome to the Greg Davis Show. I'm Greg Davis, and we are in the Impact Studios in Detroit, Michigan. And welcome. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it.
Send now prosperity, Lord. I really want him to. It's it's the holiday season, and I need.
So you just gonna add to the scripture?
I need to add to it because I need to think about getting you something for Christmas. So I need his prosperity.
Yeah, because I didn't get yours.
Yeah, you didn't give me mine, so I dare not come up short.
I bought you your Christmas gift.
Yeah,
I did.
Yes, he did.
Caught a nice little sale.
Oh.
You thought I was going to caught a case, huh? Caught a nice little sale, but it was, you like your gift?
I did. I had it.
Tell the people since you went on and I would have told it myself, but go ahead.
Well, we pride ourselves on trying to be abreast.
Fashion forward.
Fashion forward, fashionista, fashionista, and we were talking about coats. Fashionista, I'm a fashionista, and we were talking about coats, and I've never had the puffy goose down.
They're not on yet. Why are you looking at that? We haven't introduced them.
Okay, I've never had the puffy goose down coat, and I have been looking for some. And he told me, now don't go in there and buy no cheap one either. And I'm like, well, I don't even know how many times I'm gonna wear this thing because that's not like my style. But one day I was over, we were getting ready to do radio, and he had bought dinner. Not that he doesn't, he does that all the time. But he had purchased dinner, and my back was to him, and he just threw this thing on me. And he was like, that's your Christmas gift. Merry Christmas. Don't say I never did nothing for you. And I was just like so appreciative, at his warmth and his heart.
She's so faithful to all that we do. For those of you that are new viewers, it's not my wife, girlfriend. It's like we're brother and sister.
Yes.
And I really had already. Why are you laughing? You jumping in that? Because we got new viewers. Because of her face, she always did it like absolutely not.
Because we have to make that clear.
You got to make no face like I'm not a good catch though.
Well, you a good catch, but you're not for me.
Okay, well you ain't got to do all that.
I just wanted to be clear, like,
Oh God. Anyway, I want it to be a blessing because she's so faithful to the brand and all that we do. Though she really is until she just feel like she don't want to do nothing else. But speaking about being with each other, the couple that we have today, and we'll talk about the radio show and all that stuff when we come back on break. But they were on another show that I host, and they've been married twice to each other. That's the whole thing. They've been married twice to each other, and they were divorced for a while, and they are, and I don't really want to go into the bio and all that stuff. They pastor and apostle and pastor and all that. Apostle Clemens and Pastor Belinda Clemens. I want to welcome them, and we're going to talk about divorce and marriage. Welcome, Apostle and Pastor.
Thank you.
Bishop.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Glad to see y'all again. We keep running into each other. Something on this.
I know.
Something with it.
We might want to take this on the road or something.
Should do that.
it's a great story.
It is a great story. I appreciate your transparency too. So tell us a little bit. You all were married the first time. How long?
23 years.
And then this time?
15 years.
So a total, cumulatively?
43 years.
Wow.
Now the years we were separated, I don't count that
count the
because
4
in
years.
heaven we were still married.
That's so cute. How many years were you divorced?
4 years and 10 months.
Yeah, that's the cute part.
Yeah.
4 years, 10 months,
Yes.
3 days, 50 minutes in a year.
72 hours.
Oh, yeah, right. So, how did you all get to divorce?
It was a result of number one, the challenge of success. The Lord had blessed us we originally from the state of Arkansas, and God catapulted us to the state of Atlanta, Georgia, and the late Bishop Dale appointed us to a church there in Columbus, Georgia in 1989. And that was the point of our abundant development.
Yes.
And as a result of that, being blessed before I was mature enough to handle it. Now, a lot of people will tell you that God will not give you anything before you're ready, but God will. If you seek God hard enough, He'll give you that even that you want in disobedience. Because He told Peter to get in the boat to go to the other side. But Peter said, no, let me come to you. And He said, come. And so He allowed me
Permissive will.
Permissive will, yes, sir.
That's good.
And so as a result of that, you know, with success come vices.
Yes.
And with success come power. It comes, you know, everything that goes with it, you know, then you begin to attract those that are not really going your same direction, but they want to be a stowaway to get where they're trying to go at your expense. And as a result of that, adultery came into the marriage on my part. And as a result of that, it affected the ministry. And then after a period of time, my wife just couldn't take it anymore. And then because of the double lifestyle, it just exhausted me of all of my inner resources. And I just finally threw it in the towel and said, I'm gone. Gave up the ministry, left my family, and just, you know, bowed
So
out.
you look at this in one of my favorite movies of all times, of Denzel Washington, American Gangster, and he looked at the man and he said, success is trying to kill me.
Yes,
You would attribute
yes, yes.
that it was the success.
It was the success.
that destroyed your marriage.
Yes.
But it was success too soon.
Success too soon because I was not mature enough to handle it. And then, you know, when you get successful and everybody's in your ear about who you are and how great and how
start
wonderful
believing
you are, you start believing that, you buy into it to the point of where reality becomes nothing but a great fantasy.
Right.
Yes.
Do you think that, because we're on to something else, because this is what I went through, do you think that even though your pastor wanted good for you, you think he gave you too much too soon? It was really, he gave you too much too soon?
Yes, I do believe he gave me too much too soon.
Yeah, because even as I look back over my life, and this would be a shock to many people, I became a bishop over 20-something years ago in Full Gospel. We were young bishops when Full Gospel started. And really, when I look back over it, the first demise of the church that I pastored here in Detroit was because it was too much.
Yes, yes.
Too soon. Put them in debt, trying to keep up with everybody. And I can say that now, you know, years later, but I can witness and attest to. So while you're watching this, are you seeing this, Pastor?
When I
Or are you caught up in it too?
No, at first, yes.
Okay.
Because when you're used to losing a home, losing cars, and now money, you was getting that you never thought you dreamed that you would have. So sure, you know, the glamour of being a pastor's wife, was getting everything I want. I got caught up in that area because that was the first time. We always lived pretty comfortable, but we was living abundantly there. So that was a hype in both our lives, I believe. And when I think when it invaded in our home, it was, I saw it coming and I tried to warn, but I didn't want to believe it myself because I really didn't want to give up what I had.
As you begin to go through that, and like you said, you were comfortable living in abundance. You were at a place of peace because now this is something that I wanted, I have it. And these things are starting to infiltrate my home. How did you begin to deal with it before you guys actually split?
Because I think when I questioned, it was a denial, but it was a fact. As if what I was seeing, he was trying to protect me, I believe. I don't think he did. He wanted me to keep my in my place as a pastor's wife and give him the space of being a pastor. But I saw the signs. I think I saw the signs I knew I saw the signs before it developed into what it was.
Because one thing as women, God has gifted us with that extra little gift. Where
Yes.
And then we have three. You have three gifts because you have the natural eye, the spiritual eye, and then you have that intuition.
Intuition,
And
yes.
as those three things begin to align, and you begin to confront him with some of the things that you were seeing, how was that interaction, and how did that affect the ministry during that time frame?
Well, at the beginning of the ministry, no one could. I would go just like everything was okay, and I kept that persona. I kept that for Sunday. We had the house together. But when we went home, it was so much converse and interruption in the home because the kids began to acknowledge they knew what was going on because when I would confront, it was a denial to me. But I would say, I know I'm not crazy. Right. But at that time, when you get so far into something and you feel like you have that power and that position that you are, I guess, you're unstoppable. And I think he felt like that, this is not going to hurt me. I got this power. He didn't only have power in the church, but he had it also in the state. He was powerful, growing in the state image too. So he had that power, and the lady was attracted to that. And like I told him another thing, we was friends. The lady and myself was friends.
Wow.
That's the part that's the kicker, because you expect people that don't know you to try to divide your house, but when the division comes from someone that has probably sat at your dinner table, someone that you've probably had lunch with, someone that you know, that's when the pain begins. How did you deal with that?
How did I deal with it? I tried to separate the church from the home. The home, I was angry. At the church, I was smiling, still hugging, and doing what I was supposed to do as a wife. She and I had words. She knew I knew, and I knew I knew. So it was very difficult. It was to the point of wanting to take my own life, wanting to leave, but I couldn't because I still loved my husband. It may sound crazy to some people, but the love I had for him in the midst of that, I didn't want to give up. And I began to fight it more verbal than prayer. Some people say, pray. Well, I got to the point I had fasted, I had prayed, and like the more I fasted, the more I prayed, the more the devil, the more it magnified, it grew. It was to the point that not only did I know, but my friends knew, co-workers knew. So it was spreading around. So it wasn't a secret. It got to the point it wasn't a secret anymore.
Apostle,
yes, sir.
We do know that this story is very common in the church.
Yes.
I'm not talking about 20 years ago. That may be your story 20 years ago, but
yes,
even now there are so many wives that stay for the sake of the ministry.
Yes.
There are double lives, double homes, and all that. What do you say to that even today?
Well, Bishop, one point I'd like to make is the fact that I've had the opportunity to talk with many married couples, and the one common thing that I hear from most wives is they feel that they can compete with another woman. And they will stay there and fight it to try to, overrule, outdo, as it were, another woman. And that's why sometimes they stay there, and suffer when they know they have competition in their vows. But one thing I would say in response to your question is the fact that most times we lose sight on who God gave us to be our helpmate. And we begin to more or less relate them, debase them to just a wallflower, as it were. And that's what happened to me. I knew her qualities and abilities, but I've got all this other coming at me, so really you just do the wife thing, I've got the church, I've got the ministry. But what that does, you cannot fool people.
No, you can't.
You can't fool people, and especially when you have anointed people with discernment, as our sister said, having those eyes to see, then they may go along because they love you. Because when you are instrumental in saving a person's life, they have an undying loyalty to you, in spite sometime of your action. But yet and still they know, and you can begin to see a shift in even the climate and the atmosphere of the ministry. And what I would say, that every young pastor, whether you're young pastor or old pastor, is the fact that do not allow, be very conscious of what comes along with success and blessings.
When we come back, we're going to talk to the Clemens about their separation time, and you got to hear the hell he went through during that time.
Yes.
And God almost whipped him back home. When we come back on the Greg Davis Show, me and Lola.
How I Did It. Pick up this life-changing book today by Bishop Greg Davis.
Bishop Davis shares his amazing story of dramatic weight loss,
Overcoming Diabetes,
and his new journey to healthy living without surgery, dieting, or medication.
How I Did It. An incredible weight loss story captured in less than 50
It
pages.
tells the bishop's testimony of his lifestyle change after being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in April 2010.
In less than 8 months, he lost over 80 pounds and was completely healed of diabetes.
To date, he has lost over 110 pounds and feels phenomenal.
How I Did It by Bishop Davis.
A personal testimony requested by people all over the country.
He did it, and so can you. Order your copy now.
On Amazon.com.
Or send a seed of $25, which includes shipping and handling too.
Greg Davis Ministry, P.O. Box 44072, Detroit, Michigan 48244.
That's Greg Davis Ministry, P.O. Box 44072, Detroit, Michigan 48244. Bishop Greg Davis Ministries present Let the Healing Begin 2, the best of Bishop Greg Davis. And today is your day for a miracle. 3 powerful anointed healing and meditation CDs by Bishop Davis. The Word of God says that if you decree a thing, it shall be established for your sake.
Isaiah 58:8.
Everyone who comes in contact with these 3 powerful CDs will receive a life-changing experience. Order your copy right now on iTunes, CD Baby, or Amazon. Or you can send a seed, a donation of $50, and receive all 3 healing and meditation CDs. To Greg Davis Ministries, P.O. Box 44072, Detroit, Michigan 48244. Shipping and handling included. Download or order all 3 copies today and let the healing begin.
Hey, I'm Greg Davis, and over 3 years ago, I started posting tweets and posts on When the Right One Comes. Well, I tried to stop, but they wouldn't let me stop. So everybody's been asking me to write a book, When the Right One Comes. So I've taken all of my collections of When the Right One Comes, and I'm putting them in one book. You can pre-order the book right now by going to Greg Davis Show at gmail.com. That's Greg Davis Show at gmail.com. Order now, When the Right One Comes. Welcome back to the Greg Davis Show. Don't forget to listen to us in the morning. Hear us in the morning. See us in the evening. Me and Lola, the radio show. You can go to the website, gregdavisshow.com, and look at all the stations that we're on, because we want to get back to this interview. Also, you can upload, download, or upload whatever. Both of our apps, Lola George, Bishop Greg Davis. Go to social media, Bishop Greg Davis. I am Lola George, and then of course go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Many shows like this you can look at on YouTube, and we'll load new shows on a regular basis. We're talking to Apostle and Pastor Clemens, and 21 years, the first time married, and we're going to pick up the story. So you divorced.
Yes.
The church, what happened to the church?
The church finally asked me to leave. And we had just built a new church maybe a year and a half prior to that. And they had a meeting one Sunday morning and asked me if I would just resign from being the pastor. And so I resigned from being the pastor. And Bishop, as a result of that, I had been pastoring, as my wife has stated, we lived such a life of success and abundance till I really didn't have any other source of income. Now, I was raised in auto mechanics, but I'd been clean with clean fingernails so long until I didn't want to go back to that. And so I just became really a vagabond. I left Columbus and went to Las Vegas, Nevada. I had a brother that was pastoring there. And I tried to start a ministry there, and it didn't work. And then eventually, after I left Las Vegas, Belinda and I finally divorced, because we were separated for a while, and we finally divorced. And after we divorced, I just began to go place to place, trying to do what, I was accustomed to doing. But I was out of the will of God.
Yes.
And
4 years, 10 months.
4 years and 10 months, I struggled living in houses that I had to sleep across the bed because it was leaking at the head and at the foot. And just going from place to place, preaching for survival. It didn't matter whether anybody accepted Christ or not. I'm going to preach, and hopefully you'll give me an offering so I can make it, the next day. And even our relationship was non-existent, and my 2 kids were still with her. And I would call to speak to the kids, and she would even respond to my voice. If she heard my voice on the phone, it was, okay, hear your daddy, And during that time, all I wanted to hear her just ask me, was I all right? But she wouldn't have anything pleasant to do with me at any time.
Were you bitter?
I was very bitter. Okay. And that was my only way of showing him, I guess, to suffer more. Because I wanted him to suffer. I knew he was.
Bad.
I knew he was.
Yes, sir.
I knew he was calling me for consolation,
yes.
but I wouldn't give it to him. I decided I just would.
Hold on,
I was
I'm talking to the lady. Why?
I was so bitter because the way it happened. Like I said previously, she was my best friend, and now. In my heart, when it first began, I don't think she started out that way in my heart. But it happened. It got too far. But I was bitter because she was the first person that embraced me when we moved to Columbus, Georgia. I was bitter because we had a happy home, and we had went through the struggle of losing homes, but never this type of thing that happened in our marriage. So I was just bitter, and the only way I could just hurt him was not respond to him. I didn't have anything. I didn't want to say anything to him.
Wow.
As you, Pastor, as you went through this, and I'm sure you realize the Sunday that they asked you to step down.
Yes.
That you're now getting ready to, you had been outside of the will of God.
Right.
But as a man that's proud, as a man full of pride, at what point did you realize you may have made the biggest mistake of your life?
Well, at that point, I made the biggest mistake of my life when I married the woman that I left her for.
Oh, you got married again?
Yes, I got married again.
Oh, I don't remember that part.
Yes, we didn't get to that part. I got married again and was married a year and a half.
No.
Yes, sir.
We didn't get a part on that interview, on the last interview.
Exactly. No, we didn't get to that.
Through that
That's why I do what I do.
You didn't know it either. You just looked up on that one.
She got it out.
You looked up on that one. He just let it out. So during that 4 years and 10 months,
yes,
you got married again.
Married a year and a half of that 4 years and 10 months. And that's when I realized I had made the biggest mistake of my life.
You married the lady?
Yes.
That's why she bitter. Yeah, I'm on her side now. That's why we was bitter.
Yes. I need somebody, Bishop.
No, I got to leave you out there this time, man. You out there by yourself. So you how long did you, a year and how long?
A year and a half.
How long after the divorce did y'all get married?
About 2 years after the divorce. I'm talking about after being the lady got married. Oh, we got married 2 days after the divorce.
So
understand, Bishop. Understand. I don't have nothing.
I want to publish y'all book.
I don't have nothing. Ain't got nobody, and she was the only one that was trying to be there. So, okay, if you want to be there, I gotta have somebody.
My grandfather said big enough food to do it, and
yeah. So that was the result of it.
So how did y'all do?
Not good at all. Not good at all. Not good at all. It was. So
the grass wasn't greener.
The grass was not greener. Matter of fact, it was no grass.
Can I tell you something I asked him previously? Everywhere we go, last week, everywhere we go, everybody always comment us on how a couple we look. So y'all look so good together and blah, blah, blah. And I had never asked him this question. I said, I want to ask you a question. I hope I don't make you feel bad. But did you ever get that type of compliment with your other wife?
Ooh, yes.
I asked him that.
And what was the answer?
Tell him.
No, and that was the truth. No. And I moved to Florida. And I joined the church there, and the bishop embraced me, and I told him a story. He said, I'm going to help you get back on your feet. And 2 missionaries in that church, when they met the other lady, said, that ain't your wife.
Wow.
I know you introduced her, Sister Clem, but
you trying to run, and he still
God was speaking. He's still speaking.
Yeah.
And so eventually I got to the point to where I had tried leaving several times, but when I leave, I wouldn't have nowhere to go. I wound up going back. So finally one day, I was laying across the bed in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the Lord spoke to me and said, there's more to life than this. And I got up then and told her I can't do it anymore.
So after that, because we had about 3 minutes, after that, you were divorced to her for how long?
I was divorced from her for 2 years.
And you still, did you think then, I need to get back?
Well,
Or
I
no?
tried. I tried, Bishop.
She's still bitter.
She was still bitter,
Yeah.
and but she did go out. She did go out with me one time, and I asked her, could we reconcile, and she said yes while we were together. But I go back to Pensacola, Fort Walton Beach, Florida, and I got a message on my phone. It's been too much hurt. We can't be together.
You got home thinking about it, huh?
Yes.
So I got on my knees that night, and I said, God, if I don't get my ministry, if I don't get my family, and don't get my church, I'm getting you. And that's where my life began to change.
Wow.
Because I stopped bothering her. I said, God, I'm just going to give myself back to you. And whatever you want to do with me, it's fine.
Yes.
And God allowed our son to get in trouble to cause us to communicate.
Yes.
And that was the beginning of our relationship.
Oh, that's
Had to
real.
communicate.
We had
We
to.
had to communicate.
Because of your son.
Yes.
Because of our son.
Yeah. You got 2 minutes. Do you see God in this whole thing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow.
I know God did it in 1972. That's when we first got married. God joined us together. I messed it up, but he wasn't through with it.
Yes.
But we all have our road of redemption and testimony. This, I believe this is your ministry.
Yes, it is,
Of
Bishop.
everything that hurts you.
Yes, yes.
And I don't mean to sound deep, it's of everything that is your ministry.
Yes,
It
yes.
evolves to that. And so I believe through the television shows that we've done together, I believe
Yes.
there are literally hundreds are going to be helped over your
Yes.
testimony.
And Bishop, 90% of the people that come to our ministry, the couples, the married couples,
Yes.
are headed to divorce.
Divorce.
90%.
You're healing where you hurt.
And we are healing,
We are healing.
and everybody that we perform marriage to are still together, all but one.
Wow.
Yes.
Beautiful story, beautiful testimony, because people in church, in the black church, you don't see people that's willing to be transparent about what's really going on in their marriage, that divorce, but then you can divorce and how God has brought you two back together
yes.
for this ministry.
Yes.
And we are happy.
Happy.
We have 1 minute. Where can you get in touch with you? Book? They want you to come to their churches, whatever.
We're having a book coming out in 2016 called One Home, Two Hearts, and we both writing a book. And they can get in touch with me by email, clemenslc@aol.com.
ClemensLC@AOL.com. Pastor, if you want them to come to your marriage ministry, they'll come together. Powerful testimony to restore your couples. Get in touch with them. Information is on the screen. Thank you on the screen. Thank you so much for being
you for having us.
transparent.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you
And,
for having us.
I appreciate you all so much, and this is only the beginning. We got to do more together.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Glad.
Me and Lola, don't forget to listen to us in the morning, 8 a.m. to 9:30. Go to the website and find out how you can listen to the radio show. And we're going to have the Clemens on the radio show real soon. I'm Greg Davis on behalf of me and Lola George. We'll see you next time right here on the Greg Davis Show. We're out.